In a realm where sovereigns don majestic crowns yet hoard peculiar pepper grinders, where ancient palaces whisper ghostly tales and dinner gatherings spark silent debates over bread, we step into the intriguing, eccentric world of British royalty. These are not the narratives chronicled in textbooks. No, they are quirkier, pettier, and undeniably more humorous, rooted in the truth of history. Picture corgis enjoying their own personal chefs, or princesses opting for the thrill of driving lorries over the pomp of wave-filled balconies. This is the monarchy that defies your expectations. Prepare to uncover 53 astonishing yet true tales of British kings and queens. The tiaras are genuine and the oddities, even more so. But before we embark on this fascinating journey, be sure to subscribe, especially if you relish your history served with a touch of royal peculiarity. It not only aids the growth of our channel but also keeps the corgis content. Also, we'd love to know, where are you joining us from? Share your country and the current time in the comments. Are you immersed in this at 2 a.m. wrapped in a blanket or sneaking a peek during lunch while pretending to work? No matter the setting, you've found the right place. Let's delve right in. Deep within the storied halls of Buckingham Palace, where significant moments of history intermingle with the whispers of state secrets, lies an unexpected treasure, a curious collection not of crowns nor medals, but pepper grinders. Among them, pieces not just functional but bewilderingly whimsical. One even emitted a comical shriek in an exaggerated Italian accent. Picture this: a regal shelf showcasing playful designs, a pig, a knight, each with its own personality, reflecting an intriguing facet of the monarch herself. Queen Elizabeth II, a figure synonymous with decorum and dignity, harbored a light-hearted affection for these unusual kitchen tools, a detail shared with a smirk by her close staff. Those entrusted with the mundane task of refilling them would often be caught off guard by the sudden outburst of a pepper mill, eliciting laughter within the royal walls. In fact, this quirky aspect of her life intrigued many, even reaching the ears of foreign dignitaries, some of whom found themselves hesitant to sit close to these peculiar condiments at Balmoral. But why, amidst centuries of royal duty, would a queen revel in such playful eccentricity? Perhaps after decades overseeing a vast empire, the thrill of power dulled into monotony, rendering such rebellions as seasoning delightfully subversive. It's a delightful contradiction. This monarch, who witnessed the slow dissolution of an empire, found mirth in a cacophony of faux Florentine cries. Indeed, amid the polished appearances of royalty lies a hint of the ridiculous, much like that unmistakable feeling of pepper caught in one's throat. Absurdity, it seems, always finds a place at the royal banquet. Just ask those who are barred from Monopoly night. In the realm of royalty, there are peculiar prohibitions that once partook in the lives of these highborn individuals. Certainly, they are or were barred from consuming raw meat, signing autographs, indulging in Monopoly, and donning fur. An intriguing aspect of royalty is how the passage of time seems to shroud them in an increasing number of eccentric rules, similar to moss enfolding stone or the accumulation of superstition around power itself. Some of these mandates are steeped in antiquity, while others were conjured mid-century, designed to appear archaic, and a few are simply odd. Take, for instance, the taboo against eating raw meat. It's not merely a culinary preference but rather an echo of ancient trepidations surrounding parasites that could threaten a lineage. Goodbye to steak tartare or sashimi at the banquet table. Then there's the curious case of Monopoly. Yes, it's said that royals are officially forbidden from playing this divisive game, reputedly so threatening to the unity of the Windsor family that Prince Andrew's single attempt to partake led to chaos requiring 3 butlers to resolve. Now, let us turn to the controversial fur ban. This isn't a matter of modern ethics but rather a deliberate show. While royal wardrobes still contain fur, it's not newly acquired, an important distinction, akin to a hangman wielding an aged rope, somehow less offensive. Moreover, there's a compelling rule against signing autographs. The rationale is to avert forgery. However, the underlying truth rests with the specter of signed photos of Prince Harry gracing eBay, an embarrassment for all involved. These regulations aren't safeguarded by enforcers or tradition. They emerge instead from a curious cocktail of superstition and protocol. No selfies, no shellfish, and certainly no overt displays of affection unless the cameras are off or you aren't the heir. They live in a maze of unseen strings, crafted not for safety, but for show. Royals must embody humanity, but not too much, a blend of smiling figures with ancestry pulsing through their veins rather than barcodes marking their existence. And just when you might dismiss this entire royal farce as absurd, someone like Princess Margaret might burst onto the scene, breaking bread in rebellion over a mundane phrase. If this narrative has captured your attention and now you're pondering the leap from royal games to the sonorous Italian cries of pepper grinders, don't miss out. Subscribe for more strikingly odd tales just like this. Also, I invite you to share in the comments your location and the time. Are you nestled in midnight Melbourne or enjoying a lunch break in London? Join me in this mesmerizing exploration down the rabbit hole. 3. The infamous bread game of Princess Margaret at her dinner gatherings, a spectacle of rippling tension. Picture, if you will, a smoke-laden dining room within the opulent Kensington Palace. The sound of crystal clinking pairs with laughter, while the rich aroma of cognac swirls together with Chanel No. 5. At the table's helm sits Princess Margaret, bread roll in hand, her demeanor exuding the cold detachment reminiscent of a cinematic villain. The rules were straightforward. Each time a guest uttered something dull, trite, or painfully cliché, she would methodically tear her bread in two, as if the grain itself was in collusion with her rebellion. Margaret, sister to the Queen and the embodiment of royal defiance, exhibited little tolerance for mediocrity. In her presence, small talk became an act of treason. This bread game was both a source of amusement and a means of literary execution. Guests soon discovered that the harder they strove for originality, the quicker their words were reduced to ash, their bread into crumbs. Such lovely weather, one might venture, awkwardly handling a lobster fork. Rip. I adore Paris in the springtime, another would chime in. Rip. And, my wife and I honeymooned in Florence, could invoke a double rip, a fate reserved for the desperately unoriginal. Yet, beneath this aristocratic brutality lay a yearning, a craving for wit and authenticity, for those fleeting moments when a gathering of nobility embraced their humanity rather than presenting as meticulously arranged portraits. Yes, the bread game was harsh, but it was also refreshingly candid. In a realm where even personal items could be deemed state assets, honesty, much like quality bread, was best revealed behind closed doors. Margaret didn't aim for shock, she embodied it. A royal known for her lavish cigarette breaks in the bath, midday vodka indulgences, and a sharp criticism of one's grammar delivered through a carbohydrate. While Queen Elizabeth represented the institution of monarchy, Margaret was the performance that defied expectation. In this vortex of theatre, our next royal tale beckons, a scandalous card game intertwined with a future king and a trial that left the crown with egg, not caviar, smeared upon its visage. In a tale that echoes through the ages, we explore the royal baccarat scandal that ensnared the young Edward III, then merely the dashing Prince of Wales, within the velvety confines of a grand country estate in Tramcoft, Yorkshire, in September of 1890. It was a soiree dripping with opulence, populated by affluent elites, noble lords, and their entourage, where tuxedos brushed against old money. But the excitement turned dark when Sir William Gordon, a guest prone to fortune, crossed an invisible line, winning at the table far too frequently for comfort. As the enigmatic cards fell and Edward assumed the role of banker and dealer, a choice laden with controversy for the heir, intimations of foul play began to swirl. Whispers echoed through the drawing room, and a clandestine pact emerged among the other players to keep their suspicions under wraps. Yet, such secrets are seldom kept. Within minutes, the salacious truth began to seep out. Confronted, Gordon was coerced into signing an agreement to abandon card games entirely, in exchange for silence. Still, the scandal was inevitable, bursting forth like wildfire, leading Gordon to seek his vengeance through a defamation lawsuit. In a remarkable twist of fate, the young prince found himself in the public eye, seated in a courtroom, draped in a mourning coat as he elucidated the complexities of baccarat to a bewildered jury. This moment marked a rare occurrence, since as far back as 1411, no royal heir had graced the witness stand. The media frenzy that followed was electric, igniting gossip and intrigue, casting a shadow over the monarchy, which struggled to shed the lingering sadness of Queen Victoria's reign. Ultimately, while Gordon's social standing lay in ruins, Edward emerged largely unscathed, albeit with a tarnished reputation. But there was a critical lesson hidden within this experience. Never allow a future king to take the dealer's seat at a house party. This saga, rich with intrigue, sets the stage for deeper explorations into royal residences and the spectral whispers that supposedly linger in their halls. 5 royal residences steeped in spectral lore. The air is thick with ghostly tales swirling around the ancient halls of Britain's monarchs. These storied abodes hold a notable secret. They are essentially inhabited by the departed. It's not just the portraits gracing the walls or the statues standing sentinel. It's as though the footprints of historic bloodlines linger in the very fabric of the curtains. It's no wonder that whispers of the supernatural permeate these palatial structures, akin to the rustle of unseen staff members. From the majestic Windsor Castle to the tranquil Sandringham estate, there are persistent accounts that the spirits here remain, and sometimes they forget to announce their presence. Take Windsor, for instance, where whispers tell of Henry VIII himself. Staff members recount chilling tales of heavy footsteps echoing through the cloisters and a mysterious aroma that wafts in, reminiscent of the Tudor era. They speak of him wandering in agony, as if forever caught in the reverberation of his own last moments. Meanwhile, in the library, sightings of Elizabeth I, draped in her signature black gown, are reported. She glides quietly, her piercing gaze assessing the living through a lens of unyielding authority, a role she played even in life. At Sandringham, the Queen's serene estate nestled in Norfolk, the caretakers share eerie encounters. Disembodied voices dance through the halls, lights flicker without cause, and a palpable sensation of being observed wraps around them. An employee recalls that a heavy hush descends moments before a ghostly occurrence, such as a sudden chill or a painting's subtle shift. It's not the stuff of nightmares, but it certainly spooks someone folding royal linens at an unholy hour. These are not mere modern ghost stories. King George III was rumoured to converse with spirits at Kew Palace, while Princess Margaret, ever the skeptic, would dodge certain corridors when the wine had flowed too freely. Numerous footmen have flatly refused to perform night duties in specific wings of Balmoral, citing the late Duke's apparent discontent with that corridor. Whether these are genuine hauntings or mere byproducts of indulgent merriment, the narratives endure, for they resonate with a certain truth. After all, royalty carries a weight of haunting, a history that refuses to fade away gracefully. And in the shadows of these repressed stories lies one royal who famously resisted a kidnapping attempt with an uncharacteristic reaction. Picture this. March 1974, a scene unfolds in London that would echo through history. Princess Anne, the spirited daughter of Queen Elizabeth II, finds herself ensnared in a terrifying kidnapping attempt while riding in a Rolls-Royce. Suddenly, Their journey is obstructed by a menacing vehicle. Out steps Ian Ball, armed and determined to seize the princess and demand a ransom that would throw Britain into upheaval. He had the firepower, the intent, and even a getaway car at the ready. But what Ian Ball didn't account for was Princess Anne's unyielding spirit. As he commanded her to exit the car, the princess stood her ground. No cries for help erupted from her lips, nor did she waver in fear. Instead, she regarded him with a gaze that conveyed her utter disdain, unimpressed by his bravado. Underlining her aristocratic poise, she calmly retorted, "Not bloody likely." This moment, not scripted in any royal protocol handbook, evolved into an unexpected clash between royalty and a would-be captor. Amidst the turmoil, with her bodyguard shot and onlookers rushing to assist, Anne held her composure like a true heroine. Ultimately, Ball was subdued, and a legend was born that day, the princess who stood defiantly against her abductor. The British public quickly rallied around the story. Newspapers revelled in the thrilling details, and royal biographers eagerly penned their accounts. Here was a Windsor exhibiting not only bravery but an outspoken attitude that resonated deeply with the people. Anne's calm demeanour amidst chaos became a symbol of empowerment. She was transformed from mere royalty into a veritable action figure of modern monarchy. This incident revealed a compelling truth about contemporary royalty. Amidst the strict rituals and protocols, when faced with real peril, some royals are not afraid to fight back. This mixture of defiance and nobility would reappear in the curious world of royal traditions, where a castle brims with rules and a palace hums with duties, all executed with an uncanny precision. 7 intriguing oddities about royal life. Deep within the hallowed halls of the British royal family lies a collection of the strangest customs and rituals, a tapestry of royal quirks that blur the lines between tradition and absurdity. These aren't mere tidbits about the monarch's fondness for corgis. They unveil a world resembling the curious narratives of a Victorian fever dream. Ever wondered what it's like to reside in a palace that acts as a time capsule? A place where bizarre traditions flourish alongside an unseen staff trained in the delicate art of ignoring the ridiculous? Consider the pillows, for instance, fluffed by servants not once or twice, but 6 meticulous times, as if each fluff was a whisper of elegance in a tranquil cloud. Picture the peculiar rule that insists no meal can commence until the monarch has indulged in the first bite. Hungry stomachs must exercise patience while the royal palate takes its time. And let us not forget the staff tasked with breaking in the monarch's new shoes. Yes, it's true. A dedicated individual wears them around the palace to ensure they are perfectly softened before they ever meet the Queen's feet. Then comes the fascinating ritual of timepiece adjustments. When daylight saving time arrives, an entire team of horologists is summoned, adjusting dozens, if not hundreds, of clocks throughout the vast palace. This meticulous task can stretch over several days. Rooms left untouched for the year, cutlery arranged with military precision, and a specific protocol dictating how teacups should be held depending on the royal presence serve as subtle reminders of the peculiar hierarchy. Even the royal pets, like the Queen's beloved corgis, are not spared from their strange adherence to extravagance. They enjoy gourmet meals crafted by their own chef, featuring dishes that would seem luxurious to any diner. In this curious paradox, the royals, signifiers of timeless grace, find themselves enveloped in extraordinary minutiae that borders on the absurd. Yet, as the curtain falls on grandeur, what emerges from behind those ornate palace doors is a more human side of royalty, where the echoes of revelry still whisper stories of nights that felt perpetually like the swinging 60s. In the shadowy glimmer of nightlife, the younger royals navigated a world of extravagant parties, epitomized by Princess Margaret's social escapades in London. Before the paparazzi transformed royal night outings into sensational gossip, Margaret was already carving her own path. Exuding glamour in a velvet dress, She danced till dawn at the most elite venues, revolutionizing the image of the Windsors after dark. While her sister ruled with unwavering authority, Margaret stood as the emblem of aristocratic defiance, gracing nightclub guest lists alongside an eclectic mix of actors, artists, and enigmatic nobles with intriguing tales. In the aftermath of World War II, Britain felt drab and repressed. Yet, Margaret sparkled amidst the somber atmosphere, frequenting lively spots like Annabel's and the 400 Club, where royalty and revelry intertwined. These gatherings were far more than mere celebrations of music and drinks. They functioned as lavish escapes from reality. A vibrant mix of socialites, poets, and even the occasional spy flocked around her, captivated not only by her noble status but also by her compelling blend of wit and underlying sorrow. Though a modern wave of royals would follow her lead, Prince Harry's notorious Vegas antics and Prince William's nightlife forays, Margaret was the original trendsetter. She twirled while diplomats grimaced, flirted while journalists honed their critiques. Scandalous yet haunted, she embodied the tension of a life torn between obligation and the allure of the dance floor. But her nocturnal adventures represented more than simple indulgence. They were a quiet insurrection against the expectations of propriety. In essence, her nightlife told a story, one of elegance tinged with sadness, opulence draped in solitude. As she reveled in her world, her royal family often took risks, speeding through the streets without security. In the confines of even the most opulent life, there's a primal urge. Sometimes, it's just about feeling the thrill of the engine's roar. 9. Consider the revelation that a handful of royals have faced speeding tickets or take the wheel themselves to public engagements. Picture this: a member of the royal family, not ensconced in a lavish carriage or shielded within tinted SUV windows, but traversing the A303 in an unassuming British sedan, pushing the limits just a tad too far. Flash. It's not a myth. Royals are not as untouchable as tales suggest. They've been pulled over, penalized, and even chastised. After all, even dukes can run late. Take Prince Harry, who once found himself in trouble for speeding on his motorbike. Meanwhile, Prince Charles has been spotted driving to events all by himself, serenely gliding through picturesque landscapes, accompanied only by the shadows of history. But the true embodiment of self-sufficient royal driving is undoubtedly Princess Anne. Unflappable, with her hair perfectly in place and a look that teeters between irritation and disdain for tardiness, she has championed the art of driving herself and even mused about pursuing a career as an HGV driver if her royal responsibilities didn't materialize. You can almost picture it. Her calm determination suggests she truly would follow that path. There's something oddly delightful in envisioning royals engaging in the mundane, running a red light, refueling at the nearest station, or bickering with a navigation system. It's akin to spotting a teacher on a grocery run, amusing yet slightly disconcerting. Yet, this act of driving symbolizes something more profound. In a world meticulously choreographed to the minute, choosing to travel independently becomes a subtle defiance. It goes beyond speed. It's a declaration of autonomy. Every royal who ignites the engine without a chauffeur whispers, "I am more than an emblem. I'm not bound by norms." Naturally, there are traditions and protocols to uphold, leading us to one of the most peculiarly intriguing rules, the stipulation that one cannot even open a door before the sovereign. In a world where the royal tradition is steeped in peculiar customs, few rules stand out quite like the one that forbids royals from opening doors for themselves in the presence of the monarch. This bizarre yet fascinating regulation serves as a silent testament to the hierarchy that dictates royal behavior. When the sovereign is near, a royal must abide by an unspoken rule: never touch that door handle. This expectation isn't born out of physical limitations or even the allure of bejeweled knobs. but rather from the demand to uphold the established order. The monarch always steps through the door first, while everyone else awkwardly awaits their cue, preserving the essential hierarchy. In this performance of governance masquerading as theatre, even the act of entering through a door carries significant weight. To go against the script is to draw attention away from the leading performer, be it a queen, a king, or any member of the royal family. A misstep, such as opening a door prematurely, is seen as a subtle betrayal of centuries-old tradition. The rules don't stop there. No one may sit or dine before the monarch, and heaven forbid anyone positions themselves incorrectly near a doorframe when the sovereign arrives. Herein lies a system built upon ritualized respect, where simple actions like holding open a door carry heavy implications. Who leads the way, who follows, and who must wait in the shadows. Yet, what unfolds when a younger royal flouts these invisible guidelines? Consider Princess Anne, who, in a moment of independence, drives herself to an event and opens her own door with an exasperated sigh. The world doesn't crumble. The monarchy remains intact. Yet, somewhere, a flustered private secretary might find themselves fainting into the plush embrace of a cushion. Though these rules can seem ludicrous and often draw laughter, they serve as a tenacious adhesive, stitching the past into the present, like an unwilling spectre. And just when you think you've unraveled all the peculiarities of royal life, find yourself gazing upon a royal gift registry filled, not with treasures, but with the most bizarre and seemingly pointless trinkets imaginable. In the fascinating realm of royalty, there lies a captivating tradition of peculiar and extravagant gift-giving that often defies expectations. To the casual observer, royal exchanges may appear as grand acts of exchange, timeless artifacts, gold-plated trinkets, or beautifully woven tapestries. However, a closer examination reveals a world far removed from such decorum. Behind the palace walls, royals have established a quirky custom of presenting each other with presents that range from the whimsical to the outright perplexing. It's not merely a parade of tiaras and fine rugs. Picture quirky toilet seat covers, whimsical singing fish plaques, or comically sordid pepper grinders that squawk in exaggerated Italian accents. One can even find instances where a royal unwrapped a collection of fake mustache as a jovial gag, or another who thought it fitting to gift a self-portrayed framed photograph signed personally for Christmas. And let us not forget the legendary gift of practicality from Prince Philip to Queen Elizabeth, a washing machine, an object of romance steeped in utility. But therein lies the dilemma. What do you gift someone who possesses virtually everything? Grand castles, devoted servants, an extravagant jewelry collection requiring its own insurance. It appears the answer often veers toward the absurd, the kind of quirky items that might leave guests scratching their heads at an office holiday party, quite the contrast to the regal expectations. Furthermore, there's a niche category within these offerings: miniature treasures. Delicate silverware, teacups scarcely larger than thimbles, and even an ornamental porcelain ashtray shaped like a slipper once gifted to Princess Margaret. Each item carries with it a deeper significance, a tantalizing message etched in tiny gold that loudly declares, "I am aware of the conventions, yet I boldly disregard them." Within this intriguing framework, gift-giving morphs into a theatrical display. It's less about practicality or sentiment and more about flaunting eccentricity like an unwritten royal decree. The greater the absurdity of the gift, the more joy it seems to invoke. Yet, this eccentricity doesn't merely reside beneath the festive fur. Sometimes, it even finds its way into the courtroom. Once upon a time, a royal found themselves summoned to testify, and in that moment, history held its breath in astonishment. In a rare moment in history, a future king found himself summoned before a court, a spectacle that stirred curiosity and intrigue. The phrase, "The Queen reigns but does not rule," echoes in British law, yet in 1891, destiny had a different script. Imagine a courtroom buzzing with anticipation. At its centre sat the Prince of Wales, Edward, who would one day be King Edward III. Clad in a tailored coat and donning an air of indifference, he stepped into the witness box, an act that had not occurred for nearly 5 centuries since 1411. This was an extraordinary deviation from royal tradition, as the monarchy typically shies away from the courtroom, preferring grand ceremonies devoid of true justice. But here was Edward, bravely defending his host, Sir William Gordon, amidst swirling allegations of cheating at cards in a gambling scandal that has since captured public imagination. He boldly asserted the game was above board, dismissing the scandalous whispers as exaggerated rumors. Yet, the public was less interested in the details than in the sheer audacity of a royal on trial, even if figuratively. The media portrayed the event as a blend of humiliation and bravery. Some criticized Edward, suggesting his presence at the gaming table revealed a troubling sense of entitlement, while others praised his readiness to confront scrutiny instead of retreating into the comforts of his home. Ultimately, this curious chapter in royal history painted a portrait of a monarchy not entirely immune to the complexities of justice, hinting that the throne could just as easily find itself embroiled in the mundane affairs of life, overseeing dinner tables and the whims of tiny pets. Queen Elizabeth's delightful eccentricities often flew under the radar, overshadowed by her royal duties and the poised image projected in state portraits. Yet behind the emblematic clasp of her handbag lay idiosyncrasies that were both specific and amusing. Her famed screaming pepper grinder was just the tip of the iceberg. In the sanctuary of her private life, the Queen surrounded herself with carefully curated curiosities. Take her corgis, for example, each wrapped in monogrammed blankets, descendants of Susan, the very first corgi gifted to her in 1944. Not merely pets, but treasured family members, complete with their own dining settings crafted by a dedicated chef who prepared meals of fresh meat and perfectly measured rice. They were walked with an exactness akin to a royal procession and accompanied her on state visits, sometimes even receiving her greetings before esteemed world leaders. And when we talk about her dining, we are not discussing just any china, but instead, unique, sometimes themed private sets that differed between Balmoral and Windsor. For years, she favoured a singular breakfast bowl, its fine crack known only to a select group of loyal butlers. Her meals were precisely timed, yet she consumed them with notable speed, often cutting dinner short unless conversations lingered dangerously between courses. Breakfast was a ritual of its own, marked by her preference for a solitary silver marmalade spoon, not to be mistaken for the lemon curd spoon, while her cereal was humorously contained in plastic Tupperware. Such a blend of regal splendor and practical storage reflects a symbolism that many monarchs fail to reconcile. But for Queen Elizabeth, these quirks weren't mere eccentricities for show. They were a testament to her intrinsic need for order, extending down to the sound of toast crisply meeting knife. This affinity for structure translated into her extensive rule book, a fascinating archive of peculiar etiquette still echoing through the corridors of the palace. In the realm of royal discussions, one cannot overlook the peculiar and outdated rules that continue to hold sway, despite their often ceremonial nature. The British monarchy has become a tapestry woven from traditions and rituals, staples of its ancient lineage. Yet, buried within this historical framework lies a collection of eccentric customs, so bewilderingly antiquated, they could easily belong to a fanciful narrative of 18th century power struggles. These aren't mere symbolic statutes, they bear the weight of expectation, real but frequently unenforced, creating a living testament to what should and shouldn't be done. Consider the admonition that royalty must not be touched without prior consent. While not an official decree, it remains a firmly held expectation, putting any unsuspecting athlete, tourist, or pop star in potential hot water should they forget this unwritten law. The scene of an oblivious individual resting a hand on a royal shoulder is a disaster waiting to unfold, as protocol officers can be imagined cringing in the shadows. Equally curious is the protocol governing one's back to royalty. Ideally, one should never turn away. Whether you're exiting or receiving a royal nod, the preferred exit is to reverse out, as if performing an awkward dance. Though many contemporary royals bypass this archaic rule, traditions cling like dust in a seldom visited parlor. The salutation alone is a performance, addressing Your Royal Highness to start, followed by Sir or based on rank, excludes casual familiarity, no Liz or mate ever spoken. Even a handshake comes cloaked in precision. The duration of the grip is dictated by protocol, requiring a careful balance. Too long or too short could lead to unwanted repercussions. Social interactions, notably hugs, spell disaster. It's also worth noting the old rule against heirs flying together, an oversight for succession safety, yet increasingly viewed as untenable. This rule remains firmly in place alongside others such as the prohibition of shellfish for food safety, political commentary, and the unspoken law that you must cease eating as soon as the monarch has finished, regardless of the deliciousness of the meal. These customs echo with the whispers of empire, remnants of rituals aimed at preserving a mystique that is frequently tested by the unpredictable nature of fame and scandal, particularly when the chaos of modernity collides with royal traditions. In a world captivated by the lives of its most illustrious figures, the saga of a royal plunging into a chaotic car chase feels almost cinematic. Picture the relentless pursuit faced by the Princess of Wales, a tale that unfolds in an era defined by tabloid fixation. Instead of the dignified semblance of royalty, the family has often found itself cast as a moving target in a media frenzy, where cameras lurk behind every corner and scooters trail convoys like bees to nectar. Photographers dangle precariously from lampposts, resembling eager gargoyles, as they capture the drama unfolding on the streets. On one fateful day, the line between ordinary life and sensationalism blurred into a high-speed chase. The princess was not an eager participant, but rather a victim of the forceful pull of paparazzi, ensnared within the tumultuous streets of London. The chaotic scene transformed into a whirlwind of swerves and speeding. Igniting the night with flashing bulbs, a royal motorcade erupted into a minefield of excitement and danger. While such full-blown car chases may be uncommon, encounters veering on confrontation have been well chronicled. The Queen herself, while navigating the serene routes of Windsor, narrowly dodged an incident with photographers whose vehicle nearly grazed hers. Prince Harry has unflinchingly voiced the paranoia that surfaces with every camera flash tracking his path, while Prince William too has faced security challenges due to incessant pursuits. However, the foundation for this relentless media pursuit took shape in the late 1980s and 1990s when Diana, the Princess of Wales, became an unwilling main character in this paparazzi saga. Each time she entered a vehicle, it was no longer simply a drive but a highly public spectacle, as if her every movement was property for public consumption. Yet, the real tragedy extends beyond the loss of privacy. It lies in the acceptance of such invasive scrutiny. Royals were relegated to mere characters in an infinite performance, a stage where the audience felt entitled to dictate the narrative, even amidst the frantic rush hour of the M25. Still, within this grand spectacle, some royals attempted to reclaim their autonomy, insisting on being in control through their own grooming and even taking the wheel themselves. In a realm where opulence beckons, one royal challenges the status quo. Princess Anne, renowned as the hardest-working member of the British monarchy, carves her own path through royal life. She shuns extravagance, ignoring the expectations of headlines and high-profile glam squads. While most royals are trailed by teams of stylists and advisors fluent in fashion, and boldly takes charge of her own hair and makeup, often making adjustments while driving. With her hair maintained on her own and makeup sometimes applied through the rearview mirror, she has become a portrait of sovereignty and independence. Witnesses have often seen her behind the wheel, perfectly at ease with the notion of parking her own vehicle. This isn't a whimsical phase or a mere media play. It's a testament to her way of life. With a straight-talking demeanor and a razor-sharp wit, and has defined her royal persona around self-reliance. There's an undeniable charm in the image of a princess, keys in hand, embarking on the day without the trappings of luxury. While her royal counterparts indulge in high fashion and extravagant grooming, Anne's loyalty lies with practicality, evidenced by her enduring beehive hairstyle, a symbol of her simplicity and preference for the uncomplicated. Her makeup routine is refreshingly straightforward, devoid of pretense and ceremony. In a world filled with velvet ropes and extravagant displays, she embodies a refreshing resistance against the notion of helplessness, seeking only car keys and an agenda. And if you assume her bold nature fades with the setting sun, think again, for her after-hours adventures are equally as audacious and iconic as her daytime endeavors. In a striking contrast to the decorum expected of royals, Princess Margaret's forays into London's nightlife in the 1950s stunned society. As she glided down the marble steps of a bustling nightclub, a cigarette delicately clasped between her fingers, it was more than just her entrance that turned heads. It was an audacious act of rebellion against royal norms. Unlike her counterparts, who shunned mingling with jazz musicians or remaining out beyond the stroke of midnight, and less engaged in charity work, Margaret revelled in the freedom her status afforded her. While others graced formal ballrooms, she preferred the enchanting allure of low-lit cocktail lounges. Establishments like Annabelle's and the 400 became her sanctuaries, where she encountered not sycophants, but a vibrant tapestry of artists, aristocrats, and an ever-changing array of bohemian revelers. Her circle, dubbed the Margaret Set, was a melange of fashion influences, writers, and figures synonymous with controversy. Wherever she went, tales of her escapades trailed closely, often igniting a media frenzy. Margaret was no traditional royal on the dance floor. Her humor was sharp, her language fluid and unrefined, yet she captivated all with an undeniable charm. Draped in couture and adorned with family jewels, she embraced a lifestyle that combined wild intrigue with a hint of scandal. Her nights out served more than mere entertainment. They represented a bold defiance against the stifling formality of royal expectations, a clear message that resonated. She was not merely her sister or a mere emblem of an institution. Each outing was a proclamation of individuality and autonomy. I am a woman with a cigarette, and I seek my place outside these gilded walls. Such moments electrified headlines and befuddled the palace inhabitants, contributing to an ever-deepening public intrigue surrounding the modern monarchy. Here was a figure straddling the thin line between tradition and allure, duty and insurrection. Yet, intriguingly, while Margaret dazzled beneath the sparkling chandeliers, something equally peculiar unfolded above, where royals gathered for Christmas, making for a holiday experience unlike any other. Strange rituals enveloped the royal Christmas celebrations, transforming what might be considered a holiday into a carefully orchestrated performance embellished with tinsel. The royal family's Christmas at Sandringham emerges as their most theatrical spectacle, a multi-day event steeped in a baffling array of customs. Some delightful, some utterly bizarre, all enforced with unwavering adherence. Imagine a world reminiscent of Downton Abbey, yet inhabited by more corgis and far less room for spontaneity. The family doesn't simply gather in unison. Their arrivals are meticulously staggered based on hierarchy. The lesser royals alight first, while the most prominent members, often the king or queen, make their entrance last, as though they are the concluding act of an awkward pantomime. Staff members discreetly unpack luggage before the family even exits their vehicles, a subtle dance of status played out before our eyes. This unspoken hierarchy unfolds further through the carefully orchestrated arrival times, designated rooms, and the order in which they enter drawing rooms. But the peculiarities don't stop there. Gift exchanges are strictly scheduled for Christmas Eve, never Christmas Day. And forget lavish presents. The royals are encouraged to choose gifts that are intentionally humorous or delightfully tacky. Take, for example, the year Prince Harry gifted the Queen a shower cap adorned with the words, "Ain't life a royal pain?" Allegedly, it brought her much enjoyment. Meals adhere to stern protocols, dictated by customs older than the home's electrical wiring. Seating arrangements hold an almost sacred significance, while wardrobes are strictly prescribed. A formal black tie affair calls for multiple outfit changes throughout the day, alongside rigid expectations regarding posture, utensils, and table conversation. One staff member vigilantly guards the gravy boat, treating it as a closely held secret. Yet amid this strict structure lies an unexpected warmth. Fires crackle, dogs slumber under chairs, and children experience fleeting moments of mischief before being gently ushered back into the fold. Royal Christmas is less about warmth and comfort and more about an adherence to tradition, all adorned in tinsel. However, it is not the glimmering decorations that hold the most intrigue, but rather the unconventional treasures hidden on the shelves, reminiscent of a whimsical toy store more than a royal palace. In a hidden realm of Britain's regal abodes, a captivating assortment of trinkets awaits discovery. Among the lavish halls adorned with magnificent tapestries and age-old timepieces, we find whimsical, almost absurd collections, miniature masterpieces designed for the amusement of the royal lineage. These aren't mere toys for children. They are curious creations embraced by royals who possess more titles than minutes to spare. Take, for instance, the infamous pepper grinder that once belonged to Queen Elizabeth, a delightful contraption that uttered phrases in a mock Italian accent, showcasing the playful spirit of the monarchy. Deep within the confines of palatial storage reside not only novelty items and diminutive utensils, but also entire mini banquet menus crafted for the Queen's personal delight. These petite cards, delivered by esteemed diplomats or custom-made by the royals themselves, reflect the splendid absurdity of their lives. Each day, a delicately printed card would present the Queen with meal options, which she would carefully peruse and initial. These were more than simple index cards. They were finely executed, resembling the most extravagant invitations. Interestingly, even the Queen's beloved corgis enjoyed a culinary experience equivalent to her own, feasting from menus tailored just for them. Among the treasures is also a diverse array of quirky pepper grinders, fashioned like lively animals or commonplace objects, emitting various amusing sounds. These items, intentionally kept from public view, served as personal joys for staff in the know, breaking the otherwise solemn serenity of ancient dining halls. This captivating duality, grand thrones paired with playful pepper mills, is a reminder that even the most illustrious legacies have their whimsies, revealing that true royalty often dwells within the realm of the absurd. In the realm of royal discourse, the concept of noble bloodlines often takes on peculiar forms. What does it truly mean to possess royal lineage? It suggests a connection to an illustrious past marked by power, ancestral significance, and echoes of forgotten European conflicts. Yet the narrative surrounding bloodlines frequently veers into the bizarre. To claim royal descent isn't merely enough. One must embody that royal essence in speech and demeanor. Over time, certain royals have unleashed statements about their heritage that transcend the astonishing into the outright peculiar. Take Princess Michael of Kent, who audaciously asserted that she harbored more royal blood than any other member of the royal family, a claim particularly striking given it pertains to her in-laws. She traced her lineage through a tapestry of monarchs from France, Hungary, and Austria, rallying her roots to medieval nobility with an assurance akin to conspiracy theorists. Others in the realm have made less grandiose yet still bizarre declarations regarding their ancestry, some even sharing thoughts on genetic superiority in interviews, stirring both intrigue and skepticism among observers. In today's world, where monarchy often resembles a branding exercise more than a sacred lineage, such declarations may echo more like miscalculations than truths, much like a guest at an elegant gathering insisting on a dual lineage from Charlemagne. There exists a certain theatricality in these claims. The notion of royal blood feels less grounded in reality and more entwined with mystique and portrayal. Indeed, the concept of divine right has never been about biology but rather about the allure it projects. However, as that allure fades and the lines of lineage become less defined, some royals seek to reshape their narratives through writing, occasionally with regrettable outcomes. In a curious turn of events, a royal author faced allegations of plagiarism, shedding light on the dynamic worlds of royalty and literature. Traditionally, the narrations about life in the courts are crafted by court historians and biographers who hold favor with the crown. Yet, there are instances when a royal picks up the quill, driven by a desire to control their narrative or savor the exhilaration of publishing. Princess Michael of Kent fits this mold, having ventured into the realm of historical writing, producing captivating books that explore European aristocracy, romance, and scandal. These works, rich in detail and polished in presentation, offered insights into the lives of nobles and the intrigues of the court. However, the plot thickened as accusations of plagiarism arose. Critics claimed that numerous passages echoed other published texts. Some sentences were alleged to be nearly identical, with accusations that entire paragraphs were appropriated without due credit. The palace refrained from making a formal rebuttal, while Princess Michael expressed a sense of bewilderment, attributing the oversights to innocent mistakes or perhaps overly enthusiastic research assistants. It resembled a royal take on My Assistant Did It, albeit woven with historical footnotes and tales of the 18th century. The irony of the situation was palpable, a royal penning reflections on noble blood and historic unions, only to be accused of borrowing someone else's prose. This incident served as a modern cautionary tale for contemporary royalty. When one chooses to step beyond palace confines and assume the role of an author, they must brace themselves for the scrutiny that follows. Yet, despite the controversies, the book thrived in sales. Tales of royal scandal always do. Whether every word was penned by her hand or generously adapted, Princess Michael became part of a long lineage of aristocrats walking the fine line between reality and dramatization. As for the true essence of royalty, sometimes it's encapsulated not in written text, but shouted from a car window, leaving an indelible mark far beyond the pages of history. In an unexpected twist of royal protocol, Princess Anne boldly told photographers to naff off, an utterance that has since become legendary in the realm of British royalty, where moments often blend satire with politics. This blunt proclamation stands out for its raw simplicity. An iconic figure, Princess Anne is known for her unwavering composure and unflappable demeanor, perhaps the only member of the royal family equipped with a wrench in a sword fight. This memorable exchange reportedly took place in the 1980s, amidst a time when the royal family's private affairs faced relentless scrutiny from the media, with photographers swarming around every royal vehicle like tenacious wasps. The Princess Royal, renowned for her firm stance and disdain for pretense, reached a boiling point. When the press intruded upon what should have been a moment of solitude, she emerged from her car with an iconic retort that resonated through the ages: naff off. It was a statement that wasn't vulgar or aggressive but struck a perfect balance between being both timeless and contemporary, reminiscent of something an elderly relative might say while warding off local wildlife from a picnic table. This was the epitome of a royal put-down, respectful enough to keep palace decorum intact yet sharp enough to deliver a pointed message. In a family often cloaked in carefully crafted public relations messages and uncomfortable silences surrounding controversies, Anne's candid rejection of superficial courtesy was a breath of fresh air. She refused to portray herself as a victim or rise above the fray. Instead, she firmly instructed the media on where they could go, without once wrinkling her tailor jacket. This encounter transcended a mere sound bite. It became a declaration of her royal identity. Princess Anne wasn't just resistant to the media frenzy. She exemplified independent spirit, willing to open her own car door, forego stylists, and shoot down press inquiries before afternoon tea. And indeed, she wasn't the only royal fostering a vibe that echoed her unabashed authenticity, belonging to a royal circle that became a dazzling mix of charisma, intrigue, and late-night tales. The social circles surrounding royalty often take on a life of their own, and none more so than the notorious Margaret set. In a world where high society mingled freely with scandal, these gatherings traced their roots back to late-night revelries that could make even the boldest blush. Every age boasts its own crowd. The flappers danced under the spell of Gatsby, while the 60s were entranced by the visionary Andy Warhol and the British royal family. Yet, it was Princess Margaret, the scintillating nexus around whom an ever-changing group of aristocrats, artists, and eager suitors revolved, that ignited intrigue. This ensemble was no staid court. It was a vibrant ecosystem, infused with cigarette smoke and the allure of martinis, flipping royal decorum on its head. At the heart of this swirling scene stood Margaret, a woman of striking beauty and sharp wit, forever balancing a champagne glass and a daring act of rebellion. Among her confidants were illustrious figures such as photographer Cecil Beaton and playwright Noel Coward, alongside the future muses of rock and roll, long before the term gained fame. Their gatherings echoed through opulent Mayfair lounges and private clubs, where laughter was loud, boundaries were stretched, and indifference to convention reigned supreme. They did not break rules from ignorance. Their boredom was far too profound for such simplicity. Margaret reigned as the sovereign of this space, draped not in velvet gloves but in operatic elegance, presiding over a realm where the lines of aristocracy and artistic mischief were delightfully blurred. To the eyes of the media, these escapades were scandalous. To conventional courtiers, utterly terrifying. Yet for Margaret, they were the very essence of life. In their company, she was not just a royal figure but a vibrant participant in the dance of existence, gossip swirling like the night air. The Margaret set symbolized a subtle defiance, an intricate dance within tightly laced corsets. They were not revolutionary figures, decidedly not. Rather, they were daring escape artists, weaving through the constraints of a royal life, offering her a glimpse of freedom cloaked in glamorous mirth. Amid the sequins and playful sarcasm, the allure of the extravagant never ceased to captivate. And indeed, even in this cavalcade of creativity and delight, the royal house always maintained an insatiable yearning for the unique and unexpected in the gifts life bestowed. In the realm of monarchy, strange gifts often make their way into royal hands, igniting wonder and amusement. Picture this: a pepper grinder, yes, a humble kitchen item, was once bestowed upon Queen Elizabeth by an Italian restaurant. Rather than embodying the grandeur of jewels or ancient artifacts, this quirky grinder burst into life with a dramatic Italian flair, exclaiming phrases like "Mama MIA," with every twist a delightful departure from royal decorum. The Queen found joy in this whimsical gift, adding it to her extraordinary collection filled with peculiarities, each item a testament to lightheartedness. These weren't mere trinkets from dignitaries. Instead, they sprang from local eateries and the kindness of those who fancied the bizarre. Dog-shaped salt shakers or whimsical fruit-shaped china often replaced the traditional state gifts, blurring the lines of royal propriety. Perhaps these oddities served a deeper purpose. Amidst the strict formalities and polished smiles that characterize royal life, Such gifts offered a playful escape, a reminder that laughter finds its place even within the splendor of the crown. Housed away from the grandeur of the crown jewels, these amusing artifacts resided in cozy corners, private spaces where the weight of protocol lightened, allowing glimpses of the person behind the title. But amid this kingdom of eccentric gifts, one cautionary tale emerged, where cards, cigars, and a legal drama converged. A solemn warning echoed, "Always recognize your limits at the baccarat table." In the swirling shadows of history, we uncover a tale of royal indiscretion that refuses to fade away. The notorious baccarat scandal of 1890, rich in its unapologetic absurdity, stands out not for its thrilling drama by today's standards, but rather for the sheer quirkiness that cloaks it. Picture, if you will, a poker table intertwined with fruitcake drama, but steeped in royal titles. Our story leads us to Edward III, then merely the Prince of Wales, attending an extravagant gathering at Trancroft, a grand estate owned by an enigmatic industrialist whose fortune stemmed from ventures better left unmentioned at dinner. What began as a weekend filled with cigars and light-hearted bets quickly escalated into an astonishing affair, ignited by the actions of one man. Sir William Gordon, the dealer during an illicit game of baccarat, a game caught in the disfavor of high society due to its French associations, began to draw the sharp eyes of fellow guests. Over the course of several evenings, his winning streak became too remarkable to ignore. Whispers circulated that he was manipulating his bets after glimpsing the cards, transgressing both social norms and legal boundaries. The resolution to this debacle was one bound by the pressures of social standing, a private agreement where Gordon vowed never to gamble again in exchange for silence. Yet silence, as history teaches, is a fragile commodity, and once the media caught wind of these events, the courtroom awaited. The Prince of Wales, stepping into the public gaze, became the first royal heir in nearly 5 centuries to testify openly in court, a scene fraught with both tension and discomfort. Newspapers thrived on the spectacle, while political caricaturists sharpened their pens, eager to capture the extraordinary. The monarchy, though enduring, stumbled under scrutiny. Gordon suffered a profound loss of reputation, while Edward's aura of mystique dimmed. Baccarat, at least for a time, diminished in royal favor. Yet amidst the allure of danger in royal games, the peculiar traditions and eccentric duties of the royal staff stand as a testament to the bizarre whims of aristocracy, from the simply odd to the unsettlingly dystopian. Beneath the gilded surface of royal life lies a world steeped in peculiarities and age-old traditions, echoing the past. Serving the British royals is a venture for those with an unyielding spirit, challenging logic at every turn. For generations, the royal household staff has navigated an array of tasks that can be as charming as they are bizarre. Each duty, bizarre or not, is often an echo of rituals buried in time, yet upheld with unwavering resolve. Consider the curious position of the royal toothbrush squeezer. This role, perhaps once held by multiple individuals, revolves around the meticulous application of toothpaste onto a royal toothbrush. Though the Queen is certainly capable of managing a tube herself, this task underscores a commitment to tradition, drawing a line between the sovereign and the realm of routine hygiene. Then there's the peculiar role of the individual dedicated solely to ensuring the monarch's hot water bottle is placed precisely in bed at the right moment, neither too early nor too cold. It's an oddly endearing responsibility. Even the footmen have been known to press shoelaces, as rumpled laces simply wouldn't do for nobility. Another bizarre task involves measuring footfalls on marble floors, all to keep royal ears undisturbed by unnecessary sounds. Historically, specialists monitored candle drips to protect the regal tapestries, making sure no hint of imperfection lingered in the air. These duties transcend mere eccentricity. They form an intricate ritual. In a modern world filled with central heating and electric toothbrushes, each seemingly superfluous task has a pivotal role to uphold the illusion of royalty gliding above the everyday humdrum. This sense of elevation permeates even the strict protocols surrounding mundane details, such as how individuals are permitted to sit in each other's presence. In the enigmatic realm of the British royal family, even the most mundane actions are shrouded in intricate protocol. Imagine a family torn over who controls the TV remote or the best seat at dinner. Now, picture the royals, whose seating arrangements rival the precision of a finely tuned ballet. At every gathering, every encounter, the placement of each individual unfolds with the careful tension akin to that of a diplomatic negotiation. In Windsor, the stakes of where you sit, and the manner in which you arrive, are laden with significance, sometimes overshadowing the very word spoken. In royal circles, plopping down in the nearest chair is a faux pas. Here, seating is a careful balancing act influenced by status, kinship ties, and the presence of the monarch, an intricate dance where one must wait for the sovereign's arrival before taking a seat, and equally, must not depart ahead of them. An inadvertent error, such as occupying a seat reserved for a higher-ranking royal, could evoke a palpable discomfort in the room, drawing attention akin to a game of chess where moves are calculated and fraught with consequence. Turning our attention to entrances, royals are typically barred from opening doors themselves, reflecting a hierarchy of movement. Each step within the palace carries weight, with the Queen often entering last, an unspoken rule that whispers of her elevated status. Even the sheer act of walking through corridors can symbolize one's standing. And then there's the curious case of signatures. Royals famously refrain from giving autographs, a practice not only aimed at thwarting forgery but rooted in the notion that their signatures are more than mere scribbles. They're seen as national treasures, steeped in history and consequence. These elaborate protocols may appear excessive, yet they contribute to an ongoing performance, one in which all participants know their scripts, their props are steeped in centuries of tradition, and even the furniture carries an unspoken social agreement. Yet amidst this grandeur, there are moments of surprising normalcy, where a royal might candidly ponder what it would truly feel like to embrace a life beyond the gilded confines of royalty. In an intriguing moment, Princess Anne candidly mused about mingling with the working class, specifically considering a life as a heavy goods vehicle driver. The irony is palpable when we think of a royal, particularly Anne, who is notoriously straightforward and unfazed by pretentiousness. Known for her dry humor and practical nature, and stated that had she not been born into royalty, she might have pursued a career driving HGVs. Yes, you heard that right, an HGV driver. Picture her behind the wheel, transporting freight on the M1, a thermos of tea by her side, with no frills attached. This wasn't merely a whimsical thought, and possesses a valid license to operate large lorries, highlighting her genuine appreciation for hands-on work and a clear distaste for excessive pomp. Within her royal identity shines a preference for substance over spectacle. Unlike many of her kin, who can hardly handle mundane tasks like refueling a vehicle, and stands apart with her true skill in maneuvering trailers. Her comment provoked intrigue, hinting at the uncomfortable truth that a royal existence, with all its privileges, isn't inherently better than an ordinary life. It suggests there's honor in driving a truck just as much as in inaugurating a hospital wing. For Anne, the divide between royal duty and everyday labor has always been a fine line. With her tireless dedication, she ranks among the hardest-working royals, engaging in countless events yearly, many lacking glamorous flair. This remark about HGV driving was more than an amusing notion. It was a form of quiet resistance, reminding us that not all royals reside in the bubble of opulent lifestyles. And just as Anne envisioned herself behind the wheel of a freight truck, her lineage traces back to one of her ancestors occupying a far less commonplace position, sitting in a courtroom dock, with the monarchy observing uneasily from the gallery above. In the year 1891, an event unfolded in the confines of a courtroom that would captivate the public's imagination. The young Edward, destined to become Edward III, found himself in an unprecedented situation, sitting uncomfortably in the witness box, a striking image in the realm of monarchy where nobles traditionally evaded such public scrutiny. This was not merely a legal battle. It was akin to a spectacle, reminiscent of the dramatic performances of the day, fervently documented by the press. Here was a prince, ensconced in the glow of flickering gaslight, trying to articulate the complexities of the card game baccarat before a judge whose preferences might lean more towards bridge. The backdrop was the now infamous Royal Baccarat scandal, a confrontation triggered by Sir William Gordon's accusations of cheating while the prince was present, leading to a defamation suit that soon morphed into an exhibition of royal vulnerability. Audiences were drawn not just to the facts of the case but to the unfolding drama, an enthralling clash of class dynamics amid the grandeur of royalty now laid bare for all to see. In this delicate performance, Edward remained dignified, though it was clear that irritation simmered beneath the surface. He brushed off allegations and projected an air of indifference, carefully managing his image under the watchful eye of the empire. Meanwhile, the press savored every fleeting gesture, turning the courtroom into an elaborate theater, framing the prince as a reluctant actor in a scandalous play. Strikingly, the tide was against Gordon. His reputation soon lay in ruins. Yet, for the monarchy, while the outer facade remained intact, the incident had revealed cracks beneath. In fleeting moments, the royals, once thought to be untouchable, were revealed as flawed and amusingly human. And when those cloaked in tradition falter in such compelling ways, particularly amid whispers of cheating in the presence of the aristocratic elite, it crafts narratives that linger in the heart of the public, rich with intrigue and irony, glowing under the soft flicker of candlelight. At the heart of a long-forgotten scandal lies a royal figure, entangled in a web of deceit and high-stakes card games targeting the elite. Baccarat. This enigmatic game reappears like a spectral presence from the past. But the truth behind the Baccarat affair was no fleeting drama. It brewed into a tempest of nobility's vanity, social ambitions, and genteel treachery fit for the pages of a Regency tale. The year was 1890, and we find ourselves amidst luxurious surroundings at Trancroft, an opulent estate belonging to shipping tycoon Arthur Wilson. The gathering was a constellation of late Victorian aristocracy, highlighted by an illicit game of baccarat that defiantly challenged societal norms. The Prince of Wales, who would later reign as Edward VII, presided over the table, his very involvement adding an air of regal nonchalance, regardless of the game's dubious nature. Enter Sir William Gordon, a decorated soldier and an ambitious socialite, whose luck at the table raised eyebrows. Victories he achieved with alarming frequency stirred discontent among his peers. Whispers of foul play began to circulate. Rumors suggested he had observed his cards too closely. In a plot twist tinged with both awkwardness and malice, the other players forced him to pledge never to gamble again, desperate to bury any hint of scandal. Yet this effort was anything but successful. What renders this saga so irresistibly engrossing isn't merely the cheating scandal or the ensuing legal fallout. It's the tapestry of social norms it unraveled. An aristocracy, gripped by fear of exposure, clings to silence while a prince, though striving to remain aloof, finds himself ensnared by the very scandal he sought to evade. Meanwhile, Sir William's demise stemmed not from hard evidence, but from the strictures of decorum. The entire affair unfolded like a tragic drama, reminiscent of modern-day melodrama, yet played out in the garb of fine Victorian fashion amid a pretense of dignity. As the tumult of the baccarat table echoed through the halls of nobility, somewhere else, another royal commenced their mourning with a peculiar ritual, equally surreal in its own right. 31. The unconventional morning habits of Princess Margaret present a vivid tableau. Imagine breakfast served in bed, clouds of smoke curling into the air, and a splash of vodka to greet the midday sun. While Queen Elizabeth II orchestrated her mornings with precision akin to a military drill, timely, orderly, and efficient, her younger sister, Princess Margaret, welcomed the dawn like a headliner of a glamorous cabaret steeped in a haze of sophistication. According to revelations from palace insiders and her ever-loyal staff, Margaret's morning ritual unfolded not as the prelude to a productive royal agenda, but rather as an eccentric program reminiscent of a 1950s jazz superstar finding herself in a palace. As the clock neared 9 a.m., Margaret would stir slowly in her silk-draped sanctuary, frosted with ashtrays. But do not mistake waking for rising. No, her day commenced with a leisurely 2-hour embrace of her bed, oscillating between soft pillows and fluff newspapers, indulging in her first round of cigarettes and candid, unfiltered rants. Breakfast, presented on an exquisite porcelain tray, typically included fruit, toast, and coffee, all positioned with meticulous care to avoid the ever-present smoke. At 11 a.m., it was bath time. Not a hasty rinse, mind you, but a nourishing hour-long soak, precisely adjusted for temperature and accompanied by ever more cigarettes. Post-bath came the hairdresser, an indispensable in-house appointment every day, followed by dressing, a ritual involving assistance, deliberation over jewelry choices, and a steadfast vow never to wear the same outfit more than once in a week. By 12:30 p.m., she was finally poised for her first drink, usually opting for vodka, sometimes champagne, or both. It was whispered among her circle that 1 p.m. marked the threshold for engaging in conversation, but only if it sparkled with wit, compliment, and minimal exertion. This theatrical performance of Margaret's mornings was far from indolence. It was a ritualistic display, zealously preserved. Amidst a realm governed by duty and decorum, her routine stood as an unwavering declaration of her autonomy, unfurling with regal flair far beyond her bedroom, permeating every social nuance dictated by royal life. In the world of royalty, a complex and often bewildering code of etiquette governs every formal gathering. This intricate framework dictates everything from door-opening protocols to seating arrangements and the manner of address, a world where phrases like "sir" and "are" not mere expressions of respect, but vital components in a theatrical performance of hierarchy and order. Imagine a grand event where each individual from courtiers to esteemed guests is acutely aware of these invisible strings, ensuring they don't inadvertently breach a protocol as old as time itself. Let us turn our attention to entrances. The unwritten rule is clear: never step into a room before the sovereign graces it, nor traverse ahead of a senior royal unless explicitly invited. Words are carefully chosen. Speaking out of turn is fraught with peril, and a misstep in titles can forever mark one as a social faux pas. Then there's the intricate ballet of seating arrangements, which intertwines lineage, marital alliances, personal favor from the Queen, and the intricate dance of royal reputation. Without a doubt, the stakes are high. One may find oneself wedged between a noble count and a castle owner with no voice, striving to navigate the perilous fork choices while grappling with when to utter the polite charmed. Throughout these ceremonial gatherings, staff observe and subtly manage these ritualistic norms with a gentle precision. During state dinners, footmen remain poised, waiting for ever so slight signals, such as a shifted gaze or a dropped utensil, to know when to serve the meal. In more casual interactions, even the smallest errors in seating can unleash a cascade of adjustments, as a misplaced cousin's choice threatens to disrupt the delicate balance of royal society. At first glance, these customs may seem mundane, yet they form the very foundation of royal mystique, a painstakingly crafted illusion of order dictated by who occupies which chair, who bows when, and who dares break the silence. However, Amidst this captivating hierarchy lies a less glamorous truth. Even members of the royal family can find themselves grappling with money matters, mortgage anxieties, and the quiet burden of unpaid bills. In the grand tapestry of royal life, one might envision a world bathed in unending opulence, picturesque castles standing tall, adorned with magnificent jewels, where servants flit about like phantoms of servitude. Yet, beneath this enchanting facade lies a hidden truth. Even the elite face the grip of their own financial burdens. The British royal family, historically, has seen its share of members, particularly those distant from the throne, grappling with an unsettling paradox. The prestige of a title does not always equate to fiscal abundance. While the reigning monarch enjoys the security of state funds, others rely on meagre allowances, faded inheritances, or properties they are unable to sustain. Whispers of financial strain have surfaced, revealing the quiet sales of cherished heirlooms and the downsizing of lavish homes. Astonishingly, one duke found himself mortgaging an expansive estate just to manage taxes and essential repairs, while another royal struggled to meet payroll for their staff. These revelations are shocking, not due to the sums involved, but because they unveil that even a royal existence must adhere to budgeting, much like any ordinary life. The glamorous Princess Margaret, often seen as the epitome of lavishness, once turned to her sister, the Queen, for monetary assistance to maintain her status. Lesser-known royals have been spotted leasing parts of their lavish residences or auctioning family antiques. Furthermore, the trend of renting out royal venues for everything from lavish weddings to corporate gatherings sneaks into public knowledge, painting a different picture of royal existence, a narrative not of limitless wealth, but of thoughtful financial maneuvering. Maintaining a facade of prosperity can often prove as costly as the reality itself. For a lineage steeped in image, illusion, and inherited legacy, the notion of financial shortfalls feels like a scandal, yet not as alarming as the peculiar gifts that materialize under the Christmas tree, items so bizarre they challenge the norms of royal propriety and taste. In the world of royalty, particularly at Christmas time in Sandringham, the air is heavy with expectations, from precise arrival times to strict dress codes. However, when the moment arrives for the traditional gift exchange, all formalities shatter like stained glass. Here, the royals abandon elegance for whimsy, trading precious gemstones for items that might be more suited for a quirky novelty shop in Notting Hill. The aim: to be as delightfully outrageous as possible. This is not merely about the Queen acquiring uniquely designed pepper grinders from Italy or Prince Harry gifting cheeky shower caps. No, it goes beyond that. The family delights in sharing miniature household items, whimsical animal-shaped tools, and trinkets that are charmingly ugly, items reminiscent of a college white elephant party rather than a royal affair. An amusing tale lingers about Princess and gifting her brother Charles a leather toilet seat, which he cherished so dearly that it became a companion on his royal journeys. This tradition is founded on a whimsical notion: when everything is at your disposal, the real thrill lies in surprising one another with the unexpected. Monotony breeds boredom. After all, diamonds can be mundane, while a bronze plaque featuring a singing fish sparks intrigue. These gifts, far from being extravagant, embody a personal touch, rich with inside jokes wrapped in royal flair. Even the Queen is reported to participate, presenting gifts that deftly blend humor and her signature dry wit. The challenge rests not in the price tag, but in the ability to craft something imaginative without straying too far from royal decorum. These peculiar offerings unveil a deeper truth. For those ensnared in a web of formality, indulging in a dash of absurdity becomes an unparalleled luxury, a rare chance to shed seriousness and embrace playful eccentricity. This inevitably leads us to ponder a curious question. Why, in their moments of camaraderie around the dinner table, do these dignified royals transform into mischievous children, reveling in mischief. Beneath the polished surface of royal life lies a surprising undercurrent of playful, childlike behavior, particularly evident at the dinner table. Picture a lavish state dinner adorned with silk gloves, yet, lurking underneath, the spirit of playfulness awaits. Consider Princess Margaret, whose notorious bread game became a legend among the aristocracy. This wasn't merely an eccentricity, it represented a broader tradition among royals. In the privacy of their dining rooms, these gatherings turn into arenas for mischief, where inside jokes and whimsical pranks slip into view, revealing that even the highest ranks can embody the spirit of naughty schoolchildren when they feel the eyes of the world fade away. The bread game itself was deceptively simple yet profoundly expressive. Each time a guest uttered a mundane compliment, Margaret would theatrically rip a piece of bread in disdain, a silent rebellion against the dull chatter. Guests soon found themselves speaking more cautiously, acutely aware of the tension between decorum and Margaret's relentless wit. Beyond her ingenious twist on royal behavior, the monarchy has long relished charming quirks, be it clandestine charades at Balmoral or spirited Christmas competitions, that transform Samba official gatherings into delightful reunions reminiscent of eccentric boarding schools. Even during strictly formal occasions, tales abound of murmured puns among princes and competitive bets made on the timing of speeches, further demonstrating that these acts of childish rebellion are not mere flukes. They form intimate sanctuaries of normalcy amid their otherwise scrutinized lives. In the grand theatre that is royal routine, the dinner table becomes a playground, while the guest list morphs into an exclusive social circle, a clandestine party that embraces the joy of jest and camaraderie among the elite. In the glamorous corridors of high society, a royal circle emerged that mirrored the essence of a modern-day social club, long before the advent of Instagram influencers, the infamous Margaret set. This group, a dazzling assembly of aristocrats, artists, and avant-garde creators, revolved around Princess Margaret in a haze of velvet elegance and swirling cigarette smoke. This was not merely a gathering of friends. It functioned as a lifestyle statement shrouded in social charm. They were not just attendees at events, they defined the very essence of them. The tabloids tracked their every move with fervor while the court cast wary glances their way. In this carefully constructed chaos, Margaret reigned supreme. The elite convened in shimmering private venues, enjoyed gastronomic delights in Mayfair's finest establishments, and spent holidays in residences that evoked more of a filmic fantasy than conventional homeliness. Their assemblies intricately blended the regal with the bohemian, sporting formal wear above, while scandal simmered beneath the surface. Among them were luminaries like painter Lucian Freud, fashion innovator Hardy Amies, and playwright Noel Coward, each one contributing a dash of whimsy, innovation, and gentle rebellion. For Margaret, this encirclement represented a sanctuary, a place to break free from the stifling gaze of Buckingham Palace and redefine herself as a contemporary icon of sophistication, notwithstanding her proximity to the throne as the 11th in line. The press scrutinized their every feast, turning dinners into potential headlines and innocent flirtations into fodder for national discourse. Yet, despite such relentless examination, the group maintained a closeness forged through not just notoriety, but a collective aversion to societal norms. To the untrained eye, their lifestyle might have appeared excessive, but for Margaret, it was as vital as breath itself. Where her sister embodied duty, Margaret personified flair. Where the monarchy clung to tradition, she embraced artistry. Such striking differences were also manifested in the unions and declarations of other royals who boldly highlighted their ancestral pride, captivating audiences in drawing rooms and dining tables far and wide. In the intriguing saga of royal heritage, few figures capture attention quite like Princess Michael of Kent. Born Baroness Marie Christine Vonitz, She ignited controversy with her audacious claim that her veins flowed with more royal blood than those of the Queen herself, a statement that, while theatrically bold, sparked debate among aristocrats and historians alike. She traced her lineage through a web of European royalty, notably the Habsburgs and various German nobility, which, depending on one's criteria for royal connections, could lend her statement a hint of truth. Yet, it was not her ancestry that caused the most buzz. Rather, it was the confidence with which she articulated her assertion, drawing a mix of admiration and skepticism from onlookers. In an era where the monarchy relies heavily on public perception rather than royal lineage, her remarks seemed plucked from a bygone century, a time when aristocratic prestige was intrinsically connected to bloodlines. They often reappeared in tabloids, particularly during moments when her extravagant lifestyle and public missteps laid the groundwork for criticism. The luxurious fashion she donned and her penchant for unapologetic socializing only heightened this intrigue. What lies behind her claims goes deeper than mere vanity. It reflects a wistful yearning for an age when genealogy dictated authority and class distinctions were starkly defined. In a modern monarchy where humility has become a coveted quality, her assertions appear archaic, yet they persist as echoes of an enduring fantasy, one that whispers of lineage and divine right amid the polished image shaped by PR strategies. And in the realm of privilege, the intertwining of aristocratic indulgence with royal duties, sometimes beginning with cocktails at dawn, paints a complex picture of contemporary nobility, where tradition and modernity continuously clash. In the hidden corners of history, there exists a fascinating intersection between the aristocratic nightlife and the lives of the royal elite. Imagine the late nights of the past, where clubs thrummed with life and luxurious cars whisked away revelers. At first glance, royalty is perceived as an emblem of restraint and elegance, but in the velvety shadows of 1960s London, that facade was dramatically dismantled. As traditions tightened around the monarchy like an ornate corset, the younger royals, alongside their aristocratic peers, began to escape into the vibrant club scene, drinks in hand, leaving their dignified personas at the door. This was a time when the barriers separating royals from aristocrats dissolved after the sun dipped below the horizon. High society sought more than just genteel garden gatherings. They craved the thrill of dancing until dawn, preferably with an alluring companion. The 1980s brought forth the Sloane Rangers, a distinct breed of elite socialites, some of whom held titles while others boasted robust trust funds, transforming clubbing into a spirited affair. They mingled and dated royals, sharing laughter in smoky lounges, occasionally gracing the press with tales of scandal. Night spots like Annabelle's and Bougie's transcended the essence of mere clubs. They became informal extensions of royal life. It wasn't odd to witness a viscount dancing casually alongside a minor princess, both momentarily shedding the weight of societal expectations. For the tabloids, this mingling was treasure trove, providing endlessly juicy stories. Yet for the staff of the palace, it brought headaches, while for the royals, it signified a fleeting taste of liberation. This dance of aristocratic nightlife unveiled an intriguing truth. Despite their immense power, members of the royal family often looked enviously upon the unfettered freedom enjoyed by the aristocracy. Those of noble titles could indulge in mischief without severe repercussions. Royals, however, tread more cautiously, crafting their escapades to maintain an air of plausible deniability. Yet, as the night stretched into dawn, a subtle tension hung over their historic homes. Although surrounded by the glamour of clubs, the palaces remained filled with whispers, for some believed they were never truly quiet, holding on to secrets of their own. In the enchanting world of ancient royal residences, the echoes of the past resonate through each weathered stone. The creaking floors of time-worn palaces invite us to ponder the presence of those who may still walk among us. In Britain's illustrious castles, Ghostly legends weave a rich tapestry of shared experiences, passed down through generations of caretakers, butlers, and even monarchs. While the official line remains one of muted skepticism, the lingering truths whisper of too many inexplicable events to dismiss outright. Consider Windsor Castle, known for its haunting tales. Staff members recount the ghostly figure of Henry VIII, said to roam the cloisters, where the heavy tread of footsteps is reported to echo through quiet hallways. Some describe his agonizing groans, while others report the sound of a dragging leg. The consensus remains that he never knocks before entering. Then, there's the ethereal sighting of Elizabeth I, gliding gracefully through the library, not with wrath, but as a vigilant observer, judging her surroundings with an air of regal authority, albeit with a flair for the dramatic. Reports of chilling temperature drops, flickering candles, and the unmistakable sensation of being followed haunt the staff. At Sandringham House, the royal Christmas abode, the early hours are rife with unsettling occurrences. Guests narrate experiences of hearing voices in seemingly unoccupied rooms, doors creaking open without apparent cause, and an uncanny feeling of being watched, particularly in the drawing rooms post-midnight. Even in Balmoral, the beloved Scottish getaway of the Queen, spectres reportedly linger, with whispers of Queen Victoria's presence felt as if she waits for a long-lost husband from another epoch. Whether these narratives arise from sheer imagination, the quirks of aging architecture, or deeper mysteries, one undeniable truth persists: centuries of emotion and history embedded in stone buildings leave their mark. Among these shadows and secrets, there lies a royal figure eager for thrills of another kind, requiring not only a steady hand, but a spirit unafraid of the pulse of the unknown. In a world where royal duties often involve ceremonial glances and graceful waves, there exists a distinct divergence: princess and a royal who dares to drive heavy goods vehicles. Amidst her siblings, who gracefully embrace tradition, she boldly navigates a different path. Known as the Princess Royal, Anne's character is defined by her straightforwardness and a distinct aversion to pretense. Remarkably, she secured an HGV license, and unlike many who seek attention through unusual pastimes, her driving was rooted in a practical need rather than an appeal to public interest. On numerous occasions, she would personally transport horse boxes to equestrian competitions, tackling all aspects of the operation: maneuvering, equipment handling, even parking, without the assistance of her entourage. This approach wasn't just about practicality. It was an unspoken rebuke of the typical royal narrative. While other royals floated through life in luxurious vehicles, Anne's choices revealed a deeper truth. She stood as a testament against the notion that royalty must be distant and unapproachable. Her HGV license, a subtle yet powerful statement, asserted her independence from the ornamental confines of royalty. Not to be outdone, other members of the royal family, including Prince Philip and Queen Elizabeth, also shared a passion for driving. But Anne sought more than just the ability to get behind the wheel. She aimed for official qualification. This seemingly trivial detail cuts through the elaborate facade of royalty. The image of a princess with a heavy goods license serves as a reminder that beneath grand titles and sparkling tiaras, there are individuals who simply revel in the act of driving, an intriguing contrast indeed, considering the pampered existence of even the royal corgis among them. Imagine a world where the peculiar habits of royalty reveal a hidden layer of charm and whimsy. At the heart of this enchanting narrative lies Queen Elizabeth II and her unwavering attachment to her corgis, those vivacious little companions who have become as synonymous with her as the crown itself. From her early years to her twilight days, these spirited canines formed a constant presence, their tiny paws padding beside her. However, they were much more than mere pets. They were regarded almost like noble courtiers, treated with an elevated status. The Queen's journey with corgis began with a delightful gift on her 18th birthday, her first corgi, named Susan. This remarkable dog became the matriarch of a canine lineage that would grace royal halls with over 30 descendants. Yet, their royal status reached far beyond mere companionship. These corgis enjoyed a life of luxury, complete with their own designated space, an elaborate menu crafted by palace chefs, and meals comprised of exquisite ingredients like diced meat, vegetables, and gourmet options such as rabbit, all served warm. Feeding time was more than a casual affair. It was overseen with precision, ensuring that even the Queen herself would occasionally step in to manage their care and discipline. But the peculiarities of royal pets extend beyond corgis. King George I held a deep affection for spaniels, while Queen Victoria cherished a Pomeranian named Tur. Prince Rupert of the Rhine carried his distinguished hunting poodle into battles, where it earned a reputation as some sort of mystical charm. Yet, the corgi stood out, their presence immortalized in royal portraits and even making a memorable appearance in a light-hearted James Bond sketch for the 2012 Olympics, strutting down the red carpet with the poise of seasoned diplomats. In this whimsical scene, we see monarchs amidst opulence, surrounded by dignitaries, jewels, and pressing matters of state, surrendering the comforts of their bed to a dog with lineage that many prime ministers could only dream of. The charm of it all is undeniable, blending the grandeur of royalty with moments of delightful absurdity. And just when you think the unexpected stops at corgis, one can only wonder about what peculiarities await. A tuxedo-clad companion perhaps, entering a high-stakes poker game alongside a future king. The scene unfolds in a lavish country estate, where an exclusive gathering is charged with scandal. Imagine a long, elegantly set dining table, illuminated by flickering candlelight. The aromas of tobacco and luxurious French perfume mingle in the air, permeating an atmosphere rich with inherited privilege. At the helm of this opulent affair, with the poised air of someone accustomed to the spotlight, is none other than the Prince of Wales, destined to become Edward VIII. Here, he's the dealer in a high-stakes baccarat game that transcends mere wagering. It's about honor, lineage, and the veiled codes of aristocracy. This is not the otherworldly glamour of Las Vegas, but rather Trerick Croft in 1890, where the very essence of reputation is on the line. With the prince himself overseeing the game, what would typically be scorned in polite society suddenly glimmers with a foreboding allure. Sir William Gordon's remarkable wins begin to raise eyebrows, whispers of suspicion filling the room. As the weekend progresses, tales of collusion swirl, culminating in Gordon's confrontation. He is coerced into signing a document vowing never to gamble again, a silent pact meant to shroud the affair in secrecy. But secrets have a way of clawing their way to light. Instead of fading into obscurity, this scandal is thrust into the public eye, culminating in a courtroom spectacle with the prince as a witness. The dignity of the aristocracy crumbles under scrutiny, tarnishing Gordon Cummings' name while Edward's remains unscathed. Yet the lingering scent of controversy serves as a reminder that even those of royal blood can miscalculate their risks. What captivates us in this tale is not merely the suspicion of foul play, but the context, a country estate metamorphosed into a gambling den, where titles teeter precariously over a deck of cards. It's a revealing moment, hinting at a crumbling empire. As the remnants of this card game are swept away, a new drama emerges, framed by the lenses of photographers capturing the endless battle between private lives and public perception. In the intricate landscape of modern royalty, the curious interplay between visibility and concealment unfolds dramatically. The contemporary royal family exists in a realm where every smile, wave, and pose is not merely spontaneous but a deliberate act, a performance finely tuned to public expectation. Yet, what remains veiled is a far more intricate struggle, the battle for control over their own narratives, deciding what glimpses the world gets to witness. Gone are the days of formal portraits. Photographs have become the battleground in a silent war over privacy versus public scrutiny. A challenge faced by today's royals is the relentless advance of the paparazzi, not the traditional state photographers, but rather an army of determined freelancers armed with long lenses, prepared to invade privacy just to capture quirky and sanctioned moments, like a royal donning casual wear to buy groceries. A light-hearted anecdote recalls Queen Elizabeth chiding a photographer caught peering from behind the trees at Balmoral, his indecision showing as he pondered whether her words were merely a polite request or an unyielding directive. The royal family has strived to create a distinction between their personal and public lives, but in this digital age, the divide has grown increasingly tenuous. Official events come with strict protocols. No physical contact without consent, no flashes unless granted a green light, and often, no candid pics allowed. Attendees are gently nudged to stow away their devices to maintain an air of decorum. Royal security's role transcends mere guarding. It also involves crafting an image, carefully curating what is projected to the outside world. Yet, social media looms large, an arena in which the royals have hesitantly dipped their toes. Posts are meticulously planned, polished for public consumption, stripped of any semblance of spontaneity. Nevertheless, the unpredictable nature of public scrutiny loiters nearby, ready to capture adversity, be it an incident or an escape from established protocols. This backdrop sets the stage for a remarkable instance of royal rebellion, involving a princess, a pistol, and a declaration that reverberated like thunder through the very heart of the realm. In the year 1974, a moment unfolded that would etch itself into the annals of royal history, revealing both audacity and fortitude. Princess Anne, renowned for her composed demeanor and dismissal of pretense, found herself confronted by a shocking turn of events, a kidnapping attempt that would test her resolve. Following a charity engagement with her husband, Captain Mark Phillips, their journey was abruptly halted in central London when a car careened into their path. Suddenly, a man emerged, armed and dangerous, a gunman with a chilling intention, to abduct the princess and extract a ransom that could devastate the royal coffers. This scenario was far from fiction. It was a violent reality that unfolded with alarming rapidity. The assailant, later recognized as Ian Ball, opened fire, injuring both the royal chauffeur and a journalist who attempted to intervene. Yet when faced with this harrowing situation, Princess Anne did not succumb to fear. Instead of panic, she was met with an unshakable calm. Eyewitness accounts describe the moment when Ball commanded her to exit the vehicle. Her response was unwavering and defiant, not bloody likely. This was not the scripted language of royalty, but rather an authentic articulation of Anne's character, stoic and entirely unruffled by the chaos surrounding her. In just a matter of minutes, the situation escalated, leading to Ball's capture. Remarkably, Anne emerged unscathed, and what could have been a tragic tale transformed into a legendary testament of royal bravery. In an institution often marred by mundane scandals, this episode stood out, showcasing actual peril and an exemplary display of courage. Moreover, it unveiled a glaring vulnerability within the royal family, the public nature of their lives, their predictable movements, and until that day, a security protocol that was insufficiently robust. In the aftermath of this dragon's fire, a quiet revolution in royal security took shape. Yet, the most lasting impression from that fateful day is Anne's unmistakable tone, a trait she would carry through every challenge, from equine pursuits to palace affairs. Her refusal to adhere to the expected script resonated within the monarchy in the most unexpected and profound ways. The intriguing idea that members of the royal family occasionally deviate from tradition in surprising ways finds its roots in their unexpected hobbies, newfound freedoms, and overlooked protocols. Beneath the polished veneer of the British monarchy lies a rich history of subtle rule-breaking, not in bold rebellion, but in subtle actions that chip away at royal clichés. Away from their medals and high manners, there are royals who take the wheel, dress unconventionally, or curate collections that would baffle aristocrats and enchant flea market enthusiasts alike. We've witnessed Princess Anne navigating large vehicles and Prince Philip tinkering with Land Rover engines even into his 90s. The Queen, famously galloping without a helmet long after safety became the norm, engaged in these small acts that reflect rebellion within the royal confines, a gesture whispering, "We may wear crowns, but we are undeniably human." Queen Elizabeth herself was particularly adept at slipping away from the expected with a sly charm. She enjoyed Tupperware breakfast containers, found solace in jigsaw puzzles, and collected novelty pepper grinders, subtle hints at a monarch who understood her role but often yearned for something more authentic. Though these weren't overtly revolutionary acts, they revealed her true self. In a more serious vein, Prince Harry's choice to serve in Afghanistan under a false name and within combat zones exemplified a departure from tradition, not just due to the inherent dangers but for exposing a royal to the very world they typically remain insulated from. Even seemingly trivial choices can spark headlines. Royals might flout dress codes, burst into laughter too freely, or take to the dance floor in public. Each instance, though minor, carries weight. With every glimpse of a royal behaving just a bit more like the rest of us, the carefully crafted royal narrative begins to shake, allowing the public to view the individuals beneath the grand facades. Yet, the oddities associated with royalty don't stop at the upper echelons. Sometimes it's those behind the scenes, the unseen staff, who orchestrate the most peculiar and captivating happenings of all. In the hushed halls of royal palaces, a clandestine world comes alive under the cover of night. While the public's imagination often conjures images of dignified state dinners and impeccably groomed corgis, the reality behind those grand walls can be a vibrant tapestry of revelry and camaraderie. When the royal members retire for the evening, a different scene unfolds, driven by the dedicated staff who have fostered a secret culture of their own over the years. Here, in shadowed quarters, junior footmen, kitchen staff, maids, and grooms come together for casual gatherings that hum with life. Laughter echoes through the aged stone corridors, melodies seep through the ancient walls, and wine flows liberally from mismatched glasses swiped from less ceremonial cabinets. It's a scene set against the backdrop of opulent chandeliers that have borne witness to the weight of history. Among the cherished customs is the famed Christmas shift party at Sandringham, a delightful, unofficial celebration where night staff engage in their unique festivities. These occasions often feature ludicrous gift exchanges, spontaneous performances poking fun at the royals, and joyous dances in the very rooms typically reserved for inventorying silverware. Despite being technically frowned upon, such gatherings were met with a knowing acceptance. After all, the palace staff executed their duties with exceptional efficiency. If a junior butler felt compelled to serenade with a cheeky rendition of God Save the Queen, so be it. And on rare occasions, young royals might innocently drift into these impromptu celebrations, perhaps under the guise of checking their watches. These transient intersections between the aristocrats and their caretakers leave an indelible mark, revealing the inherent humanity within the ceremonial facade of palace life. It's a reminder that the monarchy can seem less remote when unexpected items, like the Queen's whimsical pepper grinder, grace the staff buffet. For in the realm of royalty, amid the rituals and regalia, it is the eccentric gifts that perhaps hold the truest charm. In the realm of royal exchanges, whimsical gifts often emerge, casting a light-hearted shadow over the weighty legacies they bear. Imagine a pepper grinder, a mere novelty, yet it speaks a language of camaraderie among royalty that transcends the ostentatious diamonds of diplomacy. Surrounded by timeless heirlooms and age-old portraits, Nothing captures the essence of understanding like a plastic singing bass or a peppermill that joyfully exclaims "Mama mia" in a playful Italian tone. Queen Elizabeth II's amusing affection for quirky gifts has woven itself into the fabric of royal tales. One such gem, a peppermill that animatedly chirped, was a spontaneous gift from an Italian dining experience, cherished and preserved within her collection for its delightful absurdity. But this pepper grinder merely scratches the surface of what's to be found in her trove of treasures. Think ceramic critters with no purpose, whimsical wind-up corgis, and dainty utensils made for serving merely a single olive. These trinkets aren't your typical diplomatic presents. They've sprouted from years of familial humor, unplanned encounters, and the eccentricities that accompany a life in a grand palace. The royal tradition of exchanging absurd objects is alive and well. Consider Prince Harry's cheeky shower cap for his grandmother, emblazoned with the phrase, "Ain't life a royal pain?" There's even a story of a grow-your-own Earl gardening kit passed among nobility. Princess Margaret, known for her wit, would give framed pictures of herself with elaborately humorous captions. Such gifts offer a revealing glimpse into the royal psyche. Behind the stoic exterior lies a secret sanctuary of joy and playfulness. Just when one imagines a monarchy steeped solely in solemnity and honor, a glimpse behind the throne unveils games in progress, not of politics, but genuine frivolities involving beloved corgis, quirky cutlery, and festive cocktails. The grandeur and decorum of the British monarchy often conceal a world of peculiar rituals, whimsical games, and eccentric characters. The polished public facade presents an enchanting mirage, gloved hands, rehearsed smiles, and speeches seemingly crafted by time itself. Yet, beyond that elegant veil lies a realm of delightful oddity, where the true essence of royal life unfolds. Within the court, whispered tales reveal unusual games played behind the scenes. From the infamous bread game, where muted guests endure silent judgment, to the more obscure pastime of crafting ridiculous nicknames for dignitaries, eccentricity reigns. The Queen Mother was famed for this unique humor, as were the annual charades during the festive season, when even the most esteemed royals would shed their formal titles for uproarious impersonations. At Balmoral, the Scottish estate, royal family members engage in fiercely competitive board games and late-night trivia, guided by staff with straight faces and playful wagers on who will flip the game board first. Unacquainted guests often find it astonishing to witness a future king passionately debating over Scrabble, or a duchess cunningly trying to outwit others in trivial pursuit. Moreover, fascinating private traditions echo through generations, including specific toasts in half Latin and humorous accolades bestowed for serving the gin. The annual costume dinners first seem amusing, yet their themes remain obscure and the executions always inconsistent. These captivating quirks evade the media scrutiny, existing far removed from state ceremonies or jubilee festivities. They serve as a poignant reminder that beneath the monarchy's decorum dwell individuals whose peculiarities remain ever present. And as this strangeness unfolds, so too do the tales of bloodlines, lineages, and ancestries that are so extraordinary they could inspire a family tree woven from folklore. In the intricate tapestry of British royalty, few figures stand out quite like Princess Michael of Kent. Known for her striking opinions, this captivating royal, once Baroness Marie Christine von Rietz, often courts intrigue with her candid remarks about her lineage and the media's portrayal of her. Married to Prince Michael of Kent, a cousin of the late Queen Elizabeth II, she presents herself with a blend of aristocratic charm and unfiltered honesty, creating a persona that tiptoes along the edge of potential scandal. Her declaration that she possesses more royal blood than any current member of the family could easily be dismissed as exaggeration, were it not for her unwavering conviction. With lineage that she claims stretches back to Charlemagne and a host of minor European royalty, Princess Michael's confidence teeters on the edge of grandeur, reminiscent of a theatrical character more than that of a modern royal. Beyond her heritage, her relationship with the press oscillates between icy disdain and provocative remarks. In her interviews, she's expressed grievances about how British tabloids misrepresent her, asserting that they fail to grasp the gravitas of her statements. When she claims her remarks are often taken out of context, one can't help but notice that they are frequently quoted in full, adding to her enigmatic allure. Princess Michael's homes boast extravagant decor, think leopards and luxurious mirrors, and when questioned about her extravagant taste, she nonchalantly remarked, "What's wrong with a bit of drama?" This self-perception as a misunderstood character in an ongoing royal narrative is indeed telling, especially in an age when restraint is often the royal decree. She unabashedly embraces her identity as a revived emblem of European nobility and a magnet for media fascination, actively participating in the dance of publicity. Yet, even as she asserts her impressive lineage, Princess Michael is no stranger to the relentless scrutiny faced by the Windsor family. The struggles between royal life and the far-reaching arm of the press manifest starkly in a world of paparazzi snares and public spectacles. In this ongoing saga, one thing remains certain: the lights of fame are always on, and she is both the subject and the storyteller. In a world where the lives of royals intertwine with the relentless gaze of the media, the modern era presents an intricate tapestry of intrusion, bizarre pranks, and the haunting spectre of public scrutiny. In contrast to the golden days of royal secrecy, when the public may have speculated on the monarch's church attire but remained blissfully unaware of her breakfast choices, today's landscape reveals an unsettling transformation. The era of guarded whispers has given way to a whirlwind of leaked voicemails, unauthorized bathroom snapshots, and intimate conversations bartered for internet clicks. From the 1990s on, the media's insatiable hunger for royal stories morphed from mere fascination into an all-consuming obsession. What once graced ornate paintings and carefully staged balcony appearances now spills into tabloids, capturing unguarded moments and conversations meant for private ears. It was as if the lives of British royals morphed into an ongoing reality show, live-streamed without their consent. The phone hacking scandals of the early 2000s marked a particularly dark chapter, as tabloids engaged in illegal surveillance of royal figures including Prince William and Prince Harry. Their private voicemails, ranging from mundane to deeply intimate, fell victim to an unforgiving media onslaught. The invasion went well beyond crime. Everyday encroachments were a constant companion. In a memorable confrontation, Prince William found paparazzi lurking in the bushes, stealthily snapping pictures like cartoon villains. Meanwhile, Princess Diana, a figure relentlessly pursued, was often cornered by photographers as she navigated her daily life, her expressions captured in the flurry of camera flashes. Even the Queen herself wasn't safe, being caught off guard by long-lens photographers during solitary walks at Balmoral. A weariness, rather than anger, reflected in her soft rebuke, a subtle exchange that spoke volumes. Yet, this relentless attention isn't just about outdoor prying. It extends into bizarre territory as well. Royals have been subjected to prank calls, with impersonators deceiving palace staff. In one notable incident, a nurse fell victim to a prankster posing as the Queen, igniting international headlines. Not a single chuckle was found in the aftermath. In response, the royal family has attempted to adapt, adopting social media while bolstering security and tightening access. Nonetheless, they grapple with an enduring contradiction. The essence of royalty hinges on visibility, yet this very exposure transforms privacy into an elusive luxury. Thus, they navigate a delicate balance, smiling from balconies while retreating to strongholds where even the wallpaper seems to watch. For as the world yearns for royal perfection, it is the fleeting glimpses of authenticity, moments when a royal reaches for a cigarette or pours a drink, those unexpected instances of normalcy that truly seize the public imagination. In the world of monarchy, a curious blend arises, the habits of everyday life juxtaposed against the backdrop of royal protocol. An enduring myth surrounds these figures, suggesting they exist apart from regular human experiences. One imagines that a sovereign's hands are too refined for mundane chores, their mornings too esteemed for the burden of hangovers, and their evenings too grand for anything as simple as a second helping. Yet, amongst centuries-old traditions and endless gardens, the royal family indulges in surprisingly ordinary pleasures. Princess Margaret shines brightly in this narrative. Her day began not with state affairs, but with a cigarette and toast in the comfort of her bed. Mornings flowed lazily into baths, while lunch often featured vodka, never hidden away, but enjoyed openly. She approached life as casually as a duchess reading the daily news in curlers. But she was not alone in her little vices. Prince Philip, at heart an engineer, would furtively tinker with his Land Rover, careful not to disturb the staff. Queen Elizabeth, too, cherished her routine, enjoying a daily Dubonnet and gin, precisely measured and sipped in private, as her dogs nestled at her feet. Even Prince Charles, now King Charles III, harbours idiosyncrasies that might puzzle an outsider. He travels with specially chosen linens and glassware, and his breakfast preferences are so meticulous they require detailed instructions. His demands are not excessive. Rather, they serve as a testament to how deeply personal monarchy can be. In a world where control is paramount, these small rituals become a rebellion of individualism. The allure lies not in the fact that royals smoke, drink, or drive amidst fog on a Tuesday, but in the striking contrast of their private lives against the facade of unflappability that royalty upholds. It's this delicate interplay between strict protocol and genuine humanity that reveals the deeper truth. It's not a scandalous peek into their lives, but a glimpse into something far more elusive, reality itself. The age-old traditions surrounding British royalty may appear peculiar in contemporary society. The protocols regarding opening doors, handshakes, and other ceremonial behaviours create a unique environment, seemingly suspended in time. While modern conveniences like central heating are present in royal residences, many enduring customs and unwritten expectations that define royal existence appear fixed. These rituals can provoke a sense of surrealism for outsiders. For example, the protocol stipulating that no royal or staff member may open a door in the presence of the monarch emphasizes the importance of symbolism over practicality. One must not interfere with the monarch's role as the leader. A premature reach for a door handle is not merely seen as well-intended but is perceived as a disturbance to the established hierarchy. Handshake etiquette further exemplifies this ceremonial choreography. Individuals must wait for the royal to initiate the handshake, which is to be brief and gentle, avoiding any excessive grip. Similarly, there are established norms regarding movement. One must walk alongside, never ahead of, a senior royal unless explicitly instructed. The timing of sitting and dining is equally governed by the monarch's actions. If the monarch ceases to eat, so must the others, expressing that adherence to etiquette supersedes personal desires. Even the nuances of conversation are regulated, beginning with formal titles such as Your Majesty or Your Royal Highness, gradually shifting to more casual forms like M or Sir. Interactions resemble a meticulously choreographed dance, leaving newcomers to navigate unspoken rules under the watchful gaze of historical portraits. These customs, while not legally mandated, are upheld rigorously by courtiers and aides who preserve the mystique of the monarchy. Violating these norms threatens the perception of the monarchy as a perpetual institution. The peculiarity of these customs lies not only in their existence but also in their ongoing significance amidst modernity. In an era dominated by technology and relaxed social norms, the notion of facing reprimand for arriving too early at an event seems almost theatrical. Nonetheless, such details are vital to the vitality of the monarchy, as this adherence to tradition sustains its enigmatic nature. Within this framework, some royals may conform to expectations, while others may choose subtle acts of defiance, like opting out of being driven or performing personal grooming tasks, especially when it appears there are systems in place to maintain their detachment from ordinary activities. This leads to a quiet yet profound shift within the royal household, symbolizing a royal individual's desire for autonomy in a meticulously structured environment. Princess and epitomizes the notion of self-sufficiency within a royal framework designed to cater to every whim. Engaging in activities traditionally outsourced, such as hairstyling and driving, she emerges as an embodiment of practicality within opulent surroundings where even minor details are meticulously maintained. The palace, intended for lavish pampering, makes her independent actions seem remarkable, even defiant. For Princess Anne, adopting a personal ethos of "I'll manage it myself" is characteristic of her identity as a staunch minimalist. While other royal family members are often accompanied by a cadre of stylists and aides, she distinguishes herself by opting to drive her own vehicle, groom her hair in a straightforward manner, and coordinate her schedule without the aid of royal staff. This behavior is not merely an eccentric choice but reflects her personal preferences and values. Notably, Princess Anne insists on styling her iconic beehive, a hairstyle retained since the 1970s, without the luxury of professional assistance, demonstrating both efficiency and a lack of pretension. Her approach to royal duties extends beyond aesthetics. She opts to personally manage her luggage, take detailed notes, and frequently avoids public photo opportunities. With little desire for adulation, her interpretation of public service is marked by everyday engagements that, while unremarkable, make substantial contributions. In an environment where public personas are meticulously crafted, her refusal to conform to such expectations appears refreshingly unconventional. Princess Anne is equipped for her engagements with practicality in mind, favoring sturdy footwear, a dependable vehicle, and straightforward travel routes. Her understated pragmatism does not negate her royal status. Instead, it redefines it by illustrating that exerting authority need not be showy. Her commitment to duty, devoid of vanity, embodies the nobility of service, suggesting that true royalty may be encapsulated in the assertion, "I've got this." Ultimately, Princess Anne emerges as a complex figure marked by a duality of tradition and modernity. She embodies respect for royal heritage while simultaneously rejecting the need for traditional support systems. Her narrative concludes not with scandalous behavior but with an understated gesture of normalcy, highlighting an intriguing paradox. The most extraordinary act a royal can perform is to simply behave like an ordinary person, rendering her endlessly captivating.